They
No,
can't
no,
leave.
this
You have
next
to
one
say
is
the
mine.
next
You have to
story
comment
that
on
we
the
want
next
you
story.
to
All
join.
lined up there. Okay, what's the next story?
I'm going to start it off with a question that I think we can all relate to. Does your kid play a sport? Did you play a sport? And when you tried out, didn't you love that competitive nature?
Yep.
Well, what happens if the team you try out for lets every single person onto the team, regardless of whether they are good or not? That's the question we're asking today, and it's because a high school in New Jersey has allowed their cheerleading squad to basically make their own rules at this point. The cheerleading squad decided to not accept one girl onto the team. The parent was enraged, called the school board. The school board said, hey, if you are upset about this, there are two options here. She either gets onto the team or there is no team at all. We're going to be an inclusive school. This is going to be an inclusive program.
Ridiculous.
We don't want to harm the self-esteem of our students at this time. How do we feel about this? Because we have a soundbite from one of the students who is really upset, and she explains why exactly she's upset. So listen to that. Think about what you have to say and comment so we can read them.
I tried my hardest, and everything's going away, all because of one child who did not make a team, and their parent complained. So now all my hard work has been thrown out the window.
A bunch of the girls were talking and explaining how they feel that the board decided to revisit the decision. We still don't know whether or not that school will allow all people to join all teams. That's the next question.
I think they're sticking to their decision as of right now. I think the onslaught of feedback may influence them one way or the other because the story's gone national.
It
So
has.
it's interesting. I think every scenario is different. I think cheerleading is a really big thing to girls that age. It's
Yes.
everything. It's your life at that point.
It's like a sorority.
You haven't achieved perspective in life, and this is the biggest thing right now. And if I'm a cheerleader and I'm doing flips, and somebody's got to catch me that didn't qualify,
You're right.
I'm not feeling too secure about that.
And girls will be girls.
Girls will
and
be
very
girls.
catty sometimes, especially at.
Sure.
I've been on the teams.
Yeah.
I've been on the teams. In a situation like this, for Ashley Belcher, says, sure, now that student is going to be the most hated girl in school,
Right.
regardless.
Can't
He
win.
said a very good point because
Either
that
way.
girl, if she is you're saying on this team now, and it's all it's inclusivity and everyone is on this team. Then, but what were the point of tryouts?
Exactly.
That's what I
point
don't
of-
understand.
They call this a club where people sign up to be on. And at that point, you're erasing the competitiveness out of it. You're erasing the lessons learned of having to study really hard, learn your moves. I had to execute my roundout back handspring back tuck, which was really hard for me to get, but I threw that at
Wow. Look at the passion right now.
I threw
Look at this
that.
passion.
Do it now.
when it came
I'm getting
to
steamed up over here feeling this.
when it came to those tryouts, because it was one of those things, parents are involved, everyone is involved, and when that list comes out and you're going down, and I had some girlfriends who made it freshman, sophomore year, did not make it on varsity squad with us junior and senior year. Devastating. I
Yeah.
remember my girlfriend walking away, and I'm going, our whole junior and senior year is going to be very different because she's not going to be with us zero period and at competitions and at Friday night football games. That's a culture shock.
It is.
And to her, that was the end of the world, you know. And
At
us
that
the
time, it is.
We're all crying.
Sure.
But if it would have been like, you know what, no, she has to be on this team or else no one's on this team, there would have been a lot of animosity because we had to go through a lot to make that team. Not that she's not worthy of it, it's just for whatever reason she didn't earn the points that day.
Yeah, there are
Here's the
certain
thing, it's
sports.
not
Yeah,
just
Michelle,
about-
go ahead.
Okay, so my two comments on this are, was there enough room for her to be an alternate? Okay, do we know anything about that? Number two, if this is competitive, there's only so many people that can compete anyway. So if there are not enough spots and they have one too many people, what are they saying to all the other girls, like the girl who was crying? She's devastated. Now they can't compete. Yeah, it's not fair. This story makes me
And
so
it's
angry.
not just cheerleading. It could literally be any
any
sport.
sport.
And as somebody who competed in college, if I were held back on my team because somebody wasn't carrying their weight in volleyball, and that would have been a detriment to me making a college team and having scouts come out to see me, I would be pissed.
Exactly.
And so
That's what even happened at the college
you can
level,
get
right? In high
you
school,
can get
it's-
scholarships for cheerleading, and if that girl is the one to ruin it for the whole program,
kids will
all
leave
those
to
kids
go
have
to
a
a
reason
different
to be
cheer
crying.
squad too.
Let me bring up just another point of view. I'm agreeing with you guys on most of this stuff. Some sports groups are set up as a competitive league and non-competitive because some parents want their kids to be involved in something, and if they're not good enough to ever participate, then it's really bad for the kid. It's bad for the parents. It sounds to me like this was always set up to be competitive, that you have to try out, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that now they're changing it into more of a, if this is more of a participation. This is more of a, if you have school spirit, maybe you're not as good as everyone else, but you're passionate, you want to be part of this, then why would we not want you on our team if you're supporting the group and you're supporting the team and the school? Why not? But to change the rules in the middle of the game, obviously, is going to set off a lot of people. And to your point, really quickly, I've been to cheer camp.
Oh,
Okay,
you have? Did
okay.
you drop the
Yeah,
spirit?
hustling women.
No,
Yeah, you were.
I was on the squad.
That's
Are
right,
you ready
as
for
a
this?
Squad deep.
I was a high school mascot. Check this out. It was always a student
picture.
body.
Go
It was always
Braves.
like a student government
I've seen this
position, and so
picture.
you dress up and do
Oh,
things.
got it.
Yeah,
The
I've
year
seen
that we tried out for it, it became only in cheerleading, which we didn't find out till after tryout. So I went to cheer camp at
Yes.
UCSB,
We
which
have
was
seen the photo.
You went to UCSB, camp at UCSB
So
or
to your
UCLA.
point, I can just
Wow.
say everything she says is correct. It becomes your world. My friend and I, Enoch, we were
It
like,
does. It
this
really does.
is a little bit too much for us.
Figuring out who's
Wait.
But
bunking
we
with who.
Wait a
respect the culture,
Wait a
and it
minute.
was
you're,
a lot.
You're at a cheer camp in Santa
Yes.
Barbara and suffering. I'm not feeling that.
Ended
I am
up going
not,
to
of
UCSB.
all the places in all the world where there's going to be thousands of cheerleaders and you and Enoch. Okay, I'm thinking the odds are pretty good there, Chieftain.
Okay, so one
No,
thing
he was
that
a
came
brave
up-
though. He was a
Cannot
brave.
wa-
Brother.
Guys, one thing that came
cannot
up in
watch that
the
experience away
comments
from
a lot is parents feeling that this is an opportunity, tryouts, competitive sports in general, an opportunity for kids to learn life's lessons.
Yes.
You learn acceptance and rejection, and if you don't learn how to
Exactly.
accept rejection at a young age, you're going to be a pretty hard adult to deal with when you get into the workplace. And so what do we think about how this impacts the younger generation of people who won't understand no is no?
Yeah,
Talk about
I manage a
trophies.
Little League team right now, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but I have some really, really good players. But we have extra players that are added to our team because everybody is inclusive and you want to give everybody a chance, which fills your heart with love, right? It does. However, what about those really, really good players who are not getting my time? They get less at bats because everybody gets a trophy.
Everyone needs to play.
So it takes away from the kids who are really good players. They get less time on the field,
Exactly.
less at bats, because you got to worry about taking care of the back end. And it's
Yeah.
like it affects the people at the top end who are quality, maybe scholarship deserving people, because you got to have everybody's got to play two
Right.
innings at one. That's just the rule of it. And I'm just bringing in different scenarios to make a point.
Right.
But the other people suffer at the top too.
Yep.
But let's just say that you've got a kid who's not very good at baseball, but really wants to play. Is there if they all are super competitive leagues, only caring about winning and the best players, then where is a spot for those kids that they just
Those
love
are the
baseball?
rec leagues. Those are the club
Exactly.
leagues.
That's
Those are
when
the
you-
other ones that you can join.
As a parent, you get
But
your
where-
kid a
is that
trainer
really
on the
widespread?
side,
I
and you
want
make them
you
better.
guys to be real. and-
Since I'm in that scenario
Yeah.
right now, you have a kid who's like that, and I do have a couple.
Yeah.
They're on the team. You love them. They play, say, 2 innings and get 1 at bat, which is the league rule. And the parents are like, look, he just really wants to play, and we're like, he'll play.
Yeah.
And here's where and when he'll play, and that's the minimum. He's included. He plays. The parents are like, look, we didn't want him to play.
Right.
He's really and everybody seems to be smooth about that.
Right. Mhm.
There's a
Right.
place for everybody, but he ain't gonna play a lot.
Right, and it doesn't go on forever.
No.
But at a certain age, isn't it okay to be not perfect and not great at something?
I
When
was
you're
that-
so
I
I think
young.
it's the rec league level. Yeah.
I
think,
was-
but when you get to the competitive level, go ahead.
I was that way. I played college basketball for New England College. I was one of the last guys off the bench, right? I was still on a college basketball team. I realized I wasn't in the top rotation. I was fine with that. I went to practice every day, practice like everybody
student
else.
athlete,
And
yeah.
I realized that I wasn't getting into the game until we were up 30 or down 30. But I accepted that. It was
Right.
my choice. I didn't have my parents calling up telling the coach to put me on.
Right, and that's
but I
another thing.
understood
But at the
where I
college
fit.
level,
Right.
that's
Exactly.
not going to
Yeah.
happen. At the high school level, I can still see having parents who work in the school system. That's a lot of the battle, especially at that administrative level. You're
Yeah.
dealing with parents and their
parents.
complaints, but what are you doing to your kid? Is this what your kid asked you to do? Is this ego?
And they might have, though. They might have asked to have a spot on that team, but I think as a parent, it's your responsibility to find out what your kid's strengths are. If it's not baseball, if it's not cheerleading, if it's not volleyball, maybe you're an incredible cook. Maybe you're an artist. And I
you're a
think
soccer
maybe
player.
you downplay
Yeah.
other abilities. Sports are chief, and everyone wants to play a sport, but that's not everyone's skill set. And I think we just need to value different things. That's
Right.
all.
There you go.
Ashley Belcher, oh man, this is how people learn to deal with disappointment. You learn young that sometimes you aren't as good as someone else. It's that way in the real world when you become an adult. And she goes on to say, you compete for jobs or promotions. How many people have you seen
Exactly.
on singing competition shows that reality sucks? And obviously you can't depend on parents to tell them that. So she goes on with her comment. But yeah, it's a hot topic today, and it goes on and on for a long time.
Chrissy,
the band
before
is-
we...
Thanks so much for watching the ABC 10 Information Network. If you want to see more stories just like this one, all you've got to do is click subscribe.